Hi everyone, welcome to core class. All you need is your mat, and we're gonna spend most of our time down on the floor. So if you're ready, let's come on down here and get our warm-up started. So I wanna start by rolling back down to the mat. So I want you to think about a nice controlled roll back. Engage through here, slowly bring yourself down to the mat, reach your hands up to the ceiling, bring them back down to your chest, and then use them to help scoop yourself on the way back up. Do that same thing. I need you to go nice and slow, nice and controlled, bringing it back down to the mat. Scoop your hands up to the ceiling, lock them back in, and come up. And if this feels a little tough, I'm gonna give you a little hint on how to get back up. Take a look. Scoop up, load down, take your foot with you as you scoop up. Let's do one more. Use that foot on the other side to scoop as you come up. Stay nice and tall. I want you to think about getting up onto your sits bones, so sitting as tall as you can. Reach your hands forward, drop them to one side and up, allowing your spine to twist a little bit. One more on each side. And stop right in the center. The next thing I want you to do is activate your upper back. So I want you to flip your hands over. Pretend you are grabbing onto something and pull back behind you, activating all through there. Because these are the exact muscles that we want to help us when we do some planks later. Really pull, wake up that back, all those supporting muscles around the spine. Release and come forward. One more time. Pull, reset. And now we're gonna bring ourselves back down to the mat. So lay back down right here. Good. From here, I want to really isolate lower abdominals. So I want you to bring your feet flat onto the floor, and I want you to first engage and lift one leg. Lower that one down, engage, lift the other leg, and lower back down. Let's do a few more right here. I want you to really focus on keeping your pelvis from tilting either direction. We're gonna make sure this is anchored into this strong position with everything that we do today. If you're feeling up to it, anchor this right here, and you can lift both legs and bring it back down. But if you feel that tilting happen, that's where I need you to reset and go back to one leg at a time. Let's do one more. And then I need you to get that momentum and bring yourself up, because this is where the hard work begins. I need you to flip over. We're gonna do a plank, and we're gonna do it for a minute. Now that only means that there's a minute on the clock. We're gonna keep form as long as we can. Tall plank, low plank, whatever you want, but it's time. Find your preferred plank. While we're here, I want you to really focus on not letting any drooping happen or not letting any tenting happen. Keep yourself pushed forward into those palms, all of my weight's being forced through all of my fingers and my palms to stay in this nice plank position. Check in on your legs. Are they engaged? If they're not, you might feel your lower back is kind of pinching or working overtime. I need you to push, so really squeeze your quads or the top part of your leg and pull your kneecaps up, because it's gonna help support when you're in this plank position. The same thing applies for that low plank. Force those knees up, squeeze those legs. We've got 10 seconds here. Hang on to it for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Set that down. Go back into that child's pose. I'm gonna have you come onto your back again. We're gonna come back over here. We're gonna spend the next minute working on hip lifts. Here's the trick though. I don't want hands to push off the floor. We're gonna slow it down, and if you can, have your hands on your chest. You with me? Lift those legs, hands right here. Squeeze the lower abdominals to lift those legs. Try not to let it be a takeoff. I need you to do this all from those lower abs. It's not a huge movement, but it's enough to really engage through that lower core. Try not to let the legs come forward. Think about going straight up. Support the neck if you need to, and stay focused on the lift and lower. Once you start to feel that burn, your body's really gonna want to use the legs for momentum. Stay strong. Keep squeezing to lift. You've got about 10 seconds left. Hang in there for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Allow yourself to relax while I explain what we're gonna do next. We're actually gonna stay right where we are, and I want you to plant your feet. Not too close, I want you to walk them away a little bit. We are going to think about dragging our back across our mat and reaching for our foot. Then you're gonna drag your back the other way to reach for that other foot. We kind of do want that resistance of sliding across the floor so that we can engage. You ready? Pull to one side, squeeze right here, release, go to the other side. And really think about almost mopping the floor with your back as you pull from side to side. Again, if you need to rest your head into your hands, think about your elbow coming down towards your shoe, and keep the head nice and supported right here. Once you get a feel for it, start looking for that constant movement. Try not to come over here and pause. Try to think about constantly pulling from side to side. Try not to let those elbows come in. Open it up, or continue with that reach, whichever works for you. You got about 10 seconds left of continuous movement. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Take a little rest. Let it go, because we gotta flip over. We gotta do those 3 again, so come on up. We're gonna go through plank, hip lifts, and oblique reaches one more time. So reset, shoulders back, tall plank or low plank, whichever you prefer, but we've got 10 seconds till go time. Start in one position and go to the other if you want to, but it's time to plank right here. So remember those tips. Squeeze through the leg to support the hips. Don't let everything come down here. And try not to round out through the back. Really open that chest to the ground. My weight is really heavily pushed into my arms right now. My feet don't have as much pressure on them. It is the same concept. If you are up here in this tall plank, not letting those hips and knees droop to the ground. Really think about squeezing the legs nice and straight. Support the pelvis, support the upper back. You've got about 15 seconds left here, so stay strong. Stay engaged. Under 10, long spine. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Come on back down. We've got hip lifts to do again. So find yourself on your back, and remember, we need to really engage through the lower abdominals to get those feet to the ceiling. This one's not easy, so we're gonna do what we can in this minute. I need you to bring your feet up right about here. Remember, it's from right here. This is supporting, this is working. You ready? Here we go. Lift and lower. Hands behind the head if you need. Now slow it down if you can. Try not to let speed take over this movement. The slower you go, the harder it is. Do what you can to stay with it. If you need a little break, bring those legs down. Just do a little squeeze. You are still working that same muscle group, just without the full extension. Either way, you should feel right down here squeezing to lift those legs. Keep the upper body nice and quiet. Try not to create that momentum. 10 seconds left. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Oh, set that down. Little rest here before we start reaching for those obliques again. So remember, we are trying to drag ourselves from side to side, create that resistance, and squeeze. You're trying to reduce the space between your hip and your rib, trying to compress those two parts of your body together. You with me? Reaching or supporting the head. Here we go. Reach. Reach here. Or keep it all right here. If you need to take a rest, come right back down here. Engage again, hands behind, and keep going with this. Try for that constant movement. Drag the back across the ground. Stay engaged. You're over halfway through this interval. Reach if you can. If you need that little reprieve, you're coming down here. Come back up and join us because you've got about 10 seconds left. Stay with it for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, you get a bit longer of a rest here because we've got 3 new exercises to get through. So we're gonna stay seated on our mat, but I want you to come up and I want you to reset that body. Put your hands in front of you, round out the spine this way. Reset nice and tall, shoulders back. We need to bring ourselves back down to the mat. You ready? Some new exercises to work on. Come on down here. So your first exercise, you're going to have your knees come up off the ground, one at a time or both at the same time. After you've done that, 90 degrees, you're gonna lift your upper body. Then your legs are gonna go down, and then your upper body will release. So think of it as up, up, down, down. You ready to join me? 3, 2, 1, here we go. Legs, upper body, legs, upper body. So really squeeze right here, stay stable. Squeeze here, and then start to reset. Squeeze, squeeze, reset back down. Now again, you can do this one leg at a time. That's okay. As long as you are engaging before you move, you're doing it right. Right here, you need to squeeze to lift, and then go to that reset. And do what you can to stay lifted off the ground right here. Really squeeze to pull everything up away from the floor. Yes? Good, we're almost through this interval. Stay nice and controlled. You get to rest. From here, we're gonna stay in this laying down position. We're gonna scissor our feet on the way up with a nice controlled reset. So I need you to start right here. Take a look. Hands behind the head, you're gonna lift up. You're gonna scissor on the way up. You're gonna control it on the way down. Scissor on the way up. And control it on the way down. You with me? Let's do this. Engage from right here. Scissor it up. Lower it down, nice and controlled the whole time. Now look, if you're lowering your legs and you get to a certain point where you can feel a tilt happen, that's as far as you're gonna go. I don't need you to bring your legs all the way down to the ground if you're creating that gap between your back and the ground. So look, scissor up, bring your feet down until you feel that grab. You're working really hard to stay in this position. Scissor it back up again. Your range of motion will grow as you get stronger in this movement of dropping the legs. You may have a short range of motion today. That's okay. Honor that and stay strong through the core. Don't lose form just so you can drop your legs further. Stay true to this movement. Rest. Okay, good news. We're gonna sit up and we're gonna flip over. We're gonna be in a tabletop position, which is kind of like a plank, but your legs are bent for this one. This is your tabletop position. We're gonna play a game where we lift our hands off the ground. It's not as easy as it sounds because as we lift our hand, we're not allowed to shift our hips. You wanna try it with me? Here we go. In that tabletop, you're gonna squeeze to lift one hand, and then you're gonna squeeze to lift the other side. Take it slow, and try not to let those knees touch the ground. They are hovering just above the ground. Every time you lift that hand, I need you to squeeze and ground yourself before you lift so that we don't end up with this happening. We are trying to keep our hips from shifting at all. Now, if you want a little secret, the wider your feet, the more stable you are. So that means the narrower your feet, the more this is gonna challenge you. Stay strong. Pull through for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. How about we go back through those last 3 exercises one more time, then we'll call it a day. But first, we need to lay down and do that combo crunch. Legs, upper body, legs, upper body. Yes, come on down here. This is where I want you to anchor everything in. Everything around the spine tightens up. Get ready to lift those legs. Right here, I'm anchored, so I'm going to lift, lift, lower, lower, lift, lift, lower, lower. I seem to have reversed this on you guys. Did you notice that? That's okay. We're still working the same muscle groups. But now I guess I get to give you an option of whether you want to lift your legs or your upper body first. Anchor in, no matter what. We need to anchor first, regardless of which end of the body is lifting. Squeeze to stabilize and lift. Right here, you're not gonna let that pull in too far. I need you to just be stable. Nice neutral spine, but stable hips. We are almost done. 3, 2, 1. Take a little rest there. Next up is that scissor up. Slow, but really working on that core. Remember, it doesn't have to be about a huge range of motion here. It's all about the integrity of the back and the stomach muscles keeping you in alignment. So shake everything out and get ready because we need to scissor up, glide down in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Here we go. Scissor on the way up. Anchor and squeeze to lower back down. Honor your range of motion. Get to that point where you feel the tilt start to happen. Brace it and then start to bring it up, okay? Squeeze, brace, scissor up. Make sure that you're breathing and you're not tucking your chin in. Open up. Keep yourself open through the chest. Really squeeze before you start to lift. Nice long legs. But if you're getting to a fatigue point where the legs are just a bit too much, bend them. This works also Same thing, squeezing before scissoring up. Rest. That means we've got one exercise left. Slow this one down. I know it seems a lot easier to just lift and lower your hand, but we'd be missing all the fun part of this particular move if we did that. Find your tabletop. Hands under shoulders, knees slightly lifted. Here we go. Anchor and lift. Anchor and lift. Remember, wider apart means more stability. Closer together means a lot harder. Do me a favor, as we get fatigued, you're gonna wanna start to do this. My back has rounded and I've shifted my weight back onto my feet, which makes my hands come off the ground really easy. But again, that's not what we're working towards. I need you to come forward, put the weight into your hands, and brace before you lift. Anchor into those feet, pull that hand. Keep that long spine. You have about 10 seconds left. Hang in here for 5, 4, 3, 2. Set those knees down and you can push back into that child's pose. Take a second here. Nice big deep breath in this child's pose. And from here, I want you to walk your fingers to one side and really extend out in front of you. Big deep breath here. And then walking your fingers to the other side. Come back to center. Walk those hands in towards your knees and sit nice and tall. From here, I want you to twist to one side. Try to look over your shoulder. Release and come back to the other side. Look over that shoulder. Reset again. Tuck your toes under and slowly bring yourself up to standing. Take your time to get there. Bring those shoulders back. Open up those arms nice and wide. Release through the front side of the body. Bring those hands down towards your legs. Roll your shoulders back, and you are done. I hope that you enjoyed your workout today, and I also hope that I'm going to see you really soon.